So my icebreaker. You might have actually heard that people often say they have two great fears in life, the two most commonly reported fears. Now, the first of those two fears is death. That's pretty understandable, right? Everyone's pretty scared of dying, at least I certainly am. But the second fear is a little bit more interesting. It's the fear of public speaking. Getting up in front of an audience, delivering a speech. Now, you might have also heard that the best way to get over a fear is to expose yourself to it, to tackle it head on, which is why I'm up here in front of you guys today, delivering my speech. So I'm going to delve a little bit into my own side. I'm going to talk about some of my feelings, which may sound weird to you guys because you're thinking like we're like engineers and feelings, like not a great mixture normally. But I'm going to share some stories from my childhood, from Australia, and some more recent ones. Rachel, I can see you're a little bit excited because you always ask me about riding kangaroos around and cuddling koala bears. So hopefully you'll enjoy these. My first story relates to what I would actually call a quintessentially Australian sport. Cricket. It's one of those sports that's synonymous with sitting out in the sun, having a beer in one hand if you're playing in the backyard, and just generally enjoying a long Australian summer. Now, I used to be the opening batsman of my cricket team. I still played it up until I moved here. And that's one of the tougher roles because you come out against their best bowlers, their fastest bowlers. A cricket ball is bright, it's brand new at that stage, it's bright, it's red and it's hard, and it hurts when it hits you. I think Sanket knows what I'm talking about here. Now, I received the information that I was going to be coming up against basically the fastest bowler that anyone on our team had seen before one game. As I got to that game, as I put my pads on, grabbed my bat and walked out to the middle, I saw this guy with bright red hair. Looked like he was fresh out of prison, actually. He was missing teeth. He smelled of cigarette smoke. And I was thinking, if I actually hit this guy for any runs, if I score any runs with this guy, I'm going to see him 20 minutes later slashing my tyres in the car park. So I was already pretty scared of him. I faced the first ball. It went past my nose at about 120 kilometres an hour. And I remember thinking, I might be in some trouble today. My second story is from when I was 17. It was one of those summers that was just dragging on forever. Perfect weather every day. Don't you just hate that? And we went to the dam. As a 17-year-old, there was a water tower there, and it was a fun place to hang out. We used to jump off the tower. It was about 8 metres tall, and we thought it was kind of fun and cool at that stage. So on one of those days, we had a ball, we were throwing it around. Someone threw it up to me, I was on the water tower. I went and leaned to catch it. I didn't fall off the tower, if that's what you're wondering. But as I leaned back, my foot just brushed the ladder. And I got a small cut, a small puncture wound. Nothing too bad, or so I thought. I was a tough 17-year-old, so I just wiped off the blood. It's nothing too major. Stayed there for another half an hour, jumped off the water tower, swam back through the murky, dirty, grimy water back to shore. And that's a little bit of a hint for you guys if you were listening, because 3 days later I was in the emergency room with the mother of all infections. My foot had swollen up to the size of a watermelon. It was the colour of one as well. My toes were stuck together. I couldn't walk on it. And the doctor told me, he said, if your foot doesn't get better in the next 12 hours, we're going to have to amputate it to save your life. So, quite recently, I actually moved to Toronto, where I am now, obviously. And to do that, I had to actually abandon my family. I left behind all of my friends. I handed in my notice at my job. I quit from an engineering company. I even sent my car to the wreckers that I drove around in, and I left most of my belongings in Australia. And I moved to a city where I knew one person only, and they weren't even here at that time. Now, there's a bit of a common element between these three stories, right? The common element is that these are situations in which someone might feel a bit of fear. We might feel nervous, we might feel afraid, and we certainly wouldn't begrudge someone if they were nervous in these situations. But personally for me, reflecting back, times in my life that I've felt the greatest amount of fear, not in these three situations. They were getting up in front of an audience and delivering a presentation. So, just as I look forward to watching everyone here develop, or for those experienced speakers, I'll just look forward to listening to you speak, I hope you'll also join me in wishing me a long and prosperous Toastmasters career, and at least I finished that first step right now.